court finds that the state of Florida has established beyond a reasonable doubt the existence of 6 aggravating factors as to each of the murders of Cameron Bowers, Preston Bowers, Casei Jones, and Ayanna Jones. As to each aggravating factor for each of the said murders, this court assigns great weight. The court finds that the aggravating factors substantially outweigh the mitigating circumstances. The court finds that a sentence of death is justified by law and the facts and circumstances of this case and is appropriate for Michael Wayne Jones for his first-degree murder of Cameron Bowers. It is therefore ordered and adjudged that for the murder of Cameron Bowers, the defendant is hereby sentenced to death. As to the murder of Preston Bowers, after considering the nature and quality of each of the aggravating factors found unanimously to have been proven beyond a reasonable doubt by the jury and the court, and each of the mitigating circumstances proven by the defendant by the greater weight of the evidence, the court finds the aggravating factors substantially outweigh the mitigating circumstances. The court finds that a sentence of death is justified by law and the facts and circumstances of this case and is appropriate for Michael Wayne Jones for his first-degree murder of Preston Bowers. It is therefore ordered and adjudged that for the murder of Preston Bowers, the defendant is hereby sentenced to death. As to the murder of Casei Jones, after considering the nature and quality of each of the aggravating factors found unanimously to have been proven beyond a reasonable doubt by the jury and the court, and each of the mitigating circumstances proven by the defendant by the greater weight of the evidence, the court finds the aggravating factors substantially outweigh the mitigating circumstances. The court finds that a sentence of death is justified by law and the facts and circumstances of this case and is appropriate for Michael Wayne Jones for his first-degree murder of Casei Jones. It is therefore ordered and adjudged that for the murder of Casei Jones, the defendant is hereby sentenced to death. As to the murder of Ayanna Jones, after considering the nature and quality of each of the aggravating factors unanimously found to have been proven beyond a reasonable doubt by the jury and the court, and each of the mitigating circumstances proven by the defendant by the greater weight of the evidence, the court finds the aggravating factors substantially outweigh the mitigating circumstances. The court finds that a sentence of death is justified by law and the facts and circumstances of this case and is appropriate for Michael Wayne Jones for his first-degree murder of Ayanna Jones. It is therefore ordered and adjudged that for the murder of Ayanna Jones, the defendant is hereby sentenced to death. The defendant shall be transported to the Florida Department of Corrections and there be kept under close confinement until the date his execution is set.
Welcome to Crime Funnel, where we look at all things true crime. This is the disturbing case of an evil father who destroyed his family by slaying his 2 young daughters, Casei Jones, 2, and Ayanna Jones, 11 months old, his 2 stepsons, Cameron Bowers, 9, and Preston Bowers, 4, and his wife, Casei Jones, 32. On a warm summer night in 2019, Michael Jones wrecked his white minivan in a 1-car accident in Brantley County, Georgia. A trip originating in Summerfield, Florida, just north of Orlando, where he lived with his wife, 2 children, and 2 stepchildren. Michael told responding officers, "You may want to put me in handcuffs because there's a dead body inside the vehicle." So they cuffed Jones and conducted a search of the van. Pure horror is what they would uncover. In the van were his wife's remains. He'd been storing her in a Rubbermaid bin for the past 2 months. Upon questioning, Jones would go on to lead the police to the final resting place of the children whom he had buried in the woods just prior to the accident. Jones gave police a detailed statement, laying out the deranged order of events. Jones told police that on July 10th, he and his wife, Casei Jones, got into an argument because Casei accused him of being unfaithful and threatened him with a baseball bat. Michael Jones said he took the bat from her and hit her in the head repeatedly, in a fit of rage, unaware of what he was doing until he snapped out of it. He would go on to blame her incessant nagging and griping, as if that's any excuse for what he did, and that he just snapped. Michael told police he placed Casei in the plastic tub and shoved it into a closet. then cleaned up as best he could, went on about life business as usual. All 4 children were sleeping in the house when the event happened. On July 27th, the boy's father picked him up and kept him for 2 weeks. Then on August 1st, Michael sent his mother Nikki Jones a text from Casey's phone acting as her, asking if she could watch the kids. She said yes, and they stayed with her for 2 weeks. The boy's father dropped them off with Michael on the 10th of August, and he would never hear from them again. Michael said that sometime between the 10th and school starting back up, he would strangle 9-year-old Cameron with his hands, and the next day he would do the same to 4-year-old Preston using zip ties. 18 days later, on the 28th of August, he loaded his 2 girls in the van and claims he drove to City Hall and sat in the parking lot trying to gather up the courage to turn himself in, all while hoping someone would catch him. Instead, he decided to return home and proceeded to drown both his daughters in the tub. Michaels told detectives that on September 1st he loaded all 5 family members in the van and drove to Jacksonville, Florida, where he spent Labor Day weekend with his ex-wife. He stayed in Jacksonville until Hurricane Dorian moved on around September 3rd or 4th, and from there headed to Georgia, bringing us back around to the accident that happened on September 15th from the start of the video. Michael Jones, 41, pleaded guilty to 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of second-degree murder in November of 2022. As part of the plea deal, the case went straight into the penalty phase instead of going to trial. Jurors were tasked with deciding whether Jones will face life in prison or death. In January of 2023, after 5 hours of deliberation, the jury came back with a unanimous recommendation of the death penalty. The case judge will take this recommendation into consideration during sentencing, but ultimately has the final word on whether Jones will receive life in prison or capital punishment. The defense has one last chance to convince the judge to hand down a life sentence at the upcoming Spencer hearing. Michael's defense attorney made several statements about Michael's mental health issues being the result of an abusive childhood, but in my eyes there's absolutely no excusing the actions this man took. The innocence lost and the lives cut way too short because he couldn't control his temper towards his wife. The time gaps between the heinous acts he committed towards his wife and children gave him plenty of time to reconsider his choices. This was a tough case and I had to leave a lot of the details out to comply with YouTube's guidelines. So I'll link to an article in the description if you want to read up on it. Please leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about this case. The following is both of the police interrogations of Michael Jones. The first in Brantley, Georgia, the night he was arrested, and the second the next day in Marion County after he was transferred back to Florida. The released videos are both heavily redacted, so the articles linked in the description below is a good read. As always, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.
She actually reached, like, we have a recliner in the living room, reached and grabbed after the bat, and kind of, hit me, broadside me or whatever. Kids? Yeah, they're asleep.
Where did they sleep at now?
The boys have a bedroom, and then the 2 girls sleep in the living room area.
Okay. So when I've been to the house, I went to the house earlier today. When I walk in the front door, obviously you walk in and you're in the living room, right? And then there's a bedroom to the right, closest to the road.
Yes.
Is that's the boys' room?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then the other room on the other end of the house is obviously y'all's, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And there was nothing left in the house as far as furniture or anything. Where was the chair situated in the house?
You first walked into the house, the recliner was right there and to the left.
Okay. Where'd that recliner go?
I left it there.
Okay.
Yeah, I hadn't taken it.
Okay.
I didn't take much out of there. So then it's summer, so the boys, her boys end up going with their father for a couple weeks. So I have the girls. Just me and the girls.
When did you take the boys to Dad?
You know, they came back before the weekend before the 22nd, and they were gone for about 10 days. So maybe the 12th of August or so.
Okay, that's when they went to Dad's on the 12th. So a day or two after this happens. What did you do from?
Yeah, school's, approaching. Boys come back.
How do the boys end up back there? I mean, obviously Dad would normally call, text. How would that happen?
It was previously with a drop off. It was determined what time, what day. Time frame was up in the air, so he texted, and I went and picked him up.
Okay. So he texts you or text her, or what's you guys' relationship like as far as with him?
We haven't talked much. Not really any relationship there.
Okay, so it's
really no communication. Yeah.
Okay, so just I got the boys. Where do you guys meet?
We met at the what was it, Lake Square Mall, Leesburg Mall.
Okay. Where does their dad live?
Here in Georgia somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah. He did live in Florida for a while. He moved here a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And they've been going back and forth as far as custody goes and when he can have him or if he can't. And he just kind of fell off the face of the earth and came back into the picture.
Really? So you get them back about the end of August?
Yeah. And I know school's starting.
Are we talking about the beginning of August? Because I think school starts like August 12th or something like that, if I remember correctly. August 11th, something like that.
Yeah, school starts around then. It was like the 10th.
Okay. So they're with Dad for about a little less than a month, right?
Yeah. I think they were there for, like I said, I think 10 days or 2 weeks.
Okay. Does he text her phone? Does he text your phone? How does that work?
I believe at first he texted her phone.
Okay.
I think we communicated the second time through my phone.
Okay.
It may have been through her phone.
And obviously at that point you got to keep up some sort of ruse that
right.
You're her, right?
Right.
Okay. So what happens then? You go and get the boys? You go out to Lake City and get the boys?
No. Met back up at the mall in Leesburg.
Okay.
His parents live somewhere in Florida.
Okay.
And then I think it's about a week.
Where are the girls at this time?
They were back with me at that point. I had dropped them off at my mother-in-law's.
Miss
Around
Nikki?
this. Nikki, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And I think I had them back. And then
So you get the boys back from Dad, and school starts. School's going on for about a week.
Yeah.
What school do they go to?
I enrolled in Fruitland Park Elementary.
Okay. Because you worked down
We'll
there?
never go. Well, we lived in Leesburg
Okay.
the last school year.
Okay.
And ended up we didn't want to put them in Leesburg. We didn't want to put them in Leesburg, so we ended up getting them in Fruitland Park.
Okay. Did you ever take them to school?
No, not this year.
So they were enrolled in Fruitland Park but never made it?
Right.
Okay. And then what happens with them? Do you go? Are you going to work still?
Yeah, I work. I work under the table for a guy right now.
Up in Jacksonville?
No, in the Villages.
So you're driving
Come
back
down here. Yeah, work a couple of days. Yeah.
Are you driving the van back and forth?
Yeah.
Driving Sarah's car? Or?
No, okay.
Obviously, I have to ask it. I got some pictures of the inside of the house from when the cleaning people showed up to clean everything up, and it looked like you were getting ready to pack up to move, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of our stuff was still packed up.
From moving there?
Yeah.
How long had you guys lived there?
I moved in April.
Okay, so April, May, June, and then July is when everything happened.
Yeah.
So just a couple months.
Yeah.
What's you guys' relationship like? I mean, is this an ongoing thing where you guys are at each other like this, like fighting, or?
It just got worse. Like, little things all the time with her. She would come at me, and we argue, and never really got physical. We had 13 people living with us in Leesburg.
Really?
Nikki, my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, and my sister-in-law's 6 kids with our 4. And it was pretty tumultuous. I mean, it was rough. To where we had to call the police on Nikki, actually. She slapped her granddaughter across the face, and just things got out of hand. But we were in the process of selling the house pretty much for 9 months or so. And the first bid that she got, first offer she got, we packed up, so stuff had been in totes for.
Okay. Was that your house down there?
Oh, it's hers. It's my wife's.
That was your wife?
Yeah.
That was Casey's house?
Yeah.
What was that address? 12?
Yeah, 2018. Yeah, 2018 Vine. Yeah.
Yeah, Vine Street. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're staying with Sarah. Is Sarah asking about the babies and what's going on, or?
No, I mean, I would keep the kids, and she would, go to work, and on the weekends, do Uber and stuff like that. And so there wasn't much conversation about it, here and there, but, I would tell her that, Casey and I are separated, and I think she's with her mom right now, so.
Okay. So you kind of just covered that
first, yeah.
And did she think much of it? Was she excited that you were back? Are you guys dating again, or?
No dating. She has a boyfriend of a couple of years, and he's up in Vermont. Nothing.
Okay, so you're just kind of crashing there and spending time with the kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
And well, I was there for the hurricane for that week. Just thought, hey, you should come and stay with us. And you're in a trailer, and I told her that the girls were with their mother, and she's a come stay with us because, they're freaked out. They just moved down here a few months ago. Okay. Nothing happened to the hurricane, obviously, but I still stayed there.
And her boyfriend was there at that time?
No. He's okay. He lives in Vermont.
So you got pretty much, she's under the impression that Casey was staying with mom and the kids are all healthy and everything's good.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Does Nikki and her sisters and everybody start calling? What's going on with the phone? I know she's got a phone, right?
Yeah, she had her phone, so I had her phone for a while, and I would text and pretend to be Casey. And
what's Casey's phone number?
352-360-8140.
Okay. And what do you know what provider that is?
Yeah, it's Sprint.
Okay. Yeah. What's your cell phone number? Or what was your cell phone number until recently?
352-530-9730.
Okay. And so you're pretending this whole time to be Casey obviously on Facebook too, because you got some like collages that you made or something on Facebook and posted them, and
also Sprint for yours.
Yeah, same. It's another same one.
Gotcha. So then you're answering text messages back and forth, and
so
that's tough, man.
And I trashed her phone. I don't know what day it was, but I was actually down up by the city hall looking down at the police department, which I believe is Marion County Police Department.
Okay.
I sat there for several hours with my daughters and turned myself in, smashed her phone in that day and threw it in the dumpster.
City Hall, I'm trying to think.
Is that
maybe Bellevue?
Yeah, maybe
by the Checkers.
Yeah, Wells Fargo's over there or something like that.
Yeah, there's a Checkers and a Wells Fargo, and you kind of look down the hill at the police department. Okay. Did you throw it in the trash? Did you throw it in the bushes?
No, I threw it in a dumpster. It was adjacent from, it was across the street from City Hall, across the road.
Across 441?
Yeah. It looked like an old gas station or something like that.
What stops you from turning yourself in? Just this basic fear that, you're going to end up in the situation you're in right now?
Yeah.
Are you driving around in the van this whole time? I have to go back to, you didn't dispose of anything out of the house? Did you clean it? And do you drink?
No, I drink beer, yeah.
Okay. Drugs or anything?
No.
Okay.
I'm on medication, but...
Are you on medication right now?
Mm.
What type of medication are you on?
Blood pressure medication, and then I have medication for depression, Wellbutrin.
Okay. Is that affecting the way you're thinking or anything right now? You seem to be pretty level-headed.
Yeah, I don't
think you're... Leave out of your house, go south.
Go right, go south. Probably 2 miles, maybe. It's before you hit the hill.
Walmart.
Before Walmart.
Before 42.
Before 42, yes.
Before 42. Okay. And is that, I mean, do you think it's still there? Or do you think they've had a trash pickup come since then?
I would assume they had it.
It's not been within the last week, obviously, because you ain't been here.
Oh.
Okay. So you clean all that stuff up, and is there, can you share with us Casey's Facebook name?
Her Facebook name?
Yeah. Is it
Princess?
Princess?
Yeah, it's in Casey Princess.
What's her password for Facebook?
I do not know.
So you just
She
logged
kept
on
it.
because it was on her phone?
Yeah, she kept it open.
Okay.
So,
Where's your phone at?
The deputy took it.
Is that the same phone? You still have the same phone from all that time? You just don't have any minutes on it?
Right. The bill is overdue, and they turned it off a couple days ago.
Okay. So that's why when I called you a couple times, it went straight to voicemail?
Yeah.
Okay. So, obviously, you were staying with Sarah. Were you with her last night?
I was up there, yes.
Okay. Up there at her place?
Yeah, up in Jacksonville.
Is she staying in the apartments?
Yeah, she
Okay.
was in apartments.
Did you guys hear my phone call and stuff last night? What was the deal with all that?
She woke me up early morning and asked me what was up with, is there any reason why Marion County would be, looking for you? And then I just tried to spin stuff, and finally I said, you know what, let me just get on the road. So.
Did you tell her what in the heck was going on?
No.
She told us that, when you talked to me, or when she talked to me this morning, you were still there. Is that true?
When she spoke to you on the phone, yeah, I was there.
What was going on?
Just trying to figure it out.
You were trying to figure out what I had going on, and
Yeah.
Okay. Did she talk to you? Did you tell her what to say to me, or?
No, I one point she thought it was looking for just me, and so I said, if you've seen me or whatever, you've seen Casey, you've seen everybody, So yeah, I guess I did tell her.
Okay, so basically, what was the deal with the McDonald's?
McDonald's.
She mentioned something about being at McDonald's. She met you at McDonald's on Friday or something to exchange the kids.
Oh, that's usually a meetup spot.
Okay, so that's your usual meetup spot.
Yeah. We were going halfway.
Okay. So, after that phone call, how long after that phone call do you leave?
I don't think I left out of Jacksonville until like 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were there for a while. After I called her the first time, did you ever tell her exactly what was going on, or you just kind of, I gotta get out of here?
Yeah, I just told her I gotta get out of here.
Did you get out of there after I called the second time?
Around that time, yeah, because she'd come back. She left the house and come back. And we talked about, she said, well, why'd you have me tell them this? And, they're calling me back. And I said, well, let me try and go deal with it. So.
And you called me, right?
I did call you.
Why didn't you come? What do you think was going to happen today after you left? What was the plan?
The only thing really I had in plan was just to get out of Florida for now, or cross the border here and set a rest stop and, try and think. I'd like to say that, sit here and kill myself, but, that's not it, just running.
So whenever that second call came in, you knew it was probably time to get going.
Yeah.
And you left and didn't really have a plan, because obviously you weren't planning for detectives to start calling you. Did you see any information about them missing or anything?
No, I didn't see anything. She told me that there was some stuff on Facebook.
Sarah did?
Yeah, Sarah did. Yeah.
Does she communicate with Casey's family?
No.
So it would have had to have been something that we posted or something like that?
Yeah, well, I think it was something that was reposted.
Okay.
Through family members. So she's Facebook friends with my mother and stuff.
Okay.
I assume it.
Did you call your mom at any point and tell her what in the heck was going on as far as...
No, my relationship with my mother's been rocky for a long time.
Okay.
I try to keep it, together as much as possible, but I message her, a couple times a week, but other than that, I haven't actually spoke to my mother in a long time to hear her voice, so.
So you get up here into Georgia. What made you... Is there any family, any friends, anybody that's this way?
No.
So you're just driving. You got money to go anywhere?
No, that's why I had, $40 when I left, and so I figured I put some money in the tank and drove, and figured I'd get across the border, like I said, into Georgia, and sit a rest stop and think, before people came after me. Think.
So you pulled down this road here, and at what point did you decide what you were going to do with that?
I'm driving, and I just keep seeing, pull-offs, and I was like, I don't even know. Like, it didn't cross my mind really, other than just to pull off. So I pulled off, went down the road, took a piss.
I mean, obviously they don't train that. Were you ever in the military?
Yeah, I was.
What branch?
I was in the Navy.
Okay. For how long?
5 years. Served with the Marines in the medical field. But, yeah, no, I'm not trained.
You were in the medical field, though?
Yeah.
You kind of had an idea of things that you could do.
Tell me about this. This is another question I had. How did you wreck the van? What happened there?
Like I said, after I got out of the woods driving or whatever, the GPS is like rerouting me, and so I messed with the GPS, and it's touch screen, and I'm looking this way, and I swerved out the road once, and then kind of like, okay, pay attention, and I swerved again, and that was it, just kept going down, and I slammed into that, and that was it.
What happened then?
I got out, trying to collect myself and figure out, what was up.
Were you injured?
No. I mean, my ankle a little bit, and other than that, no, I had a seatbelt on.
You can kind of see up here. Is that you got a
I
little...
think so, yeah. I haven't seen myself, but so I had some.
Seatbelt, yeah.
But I
wonder what that was.
Yeah.
I got, the powder or whatever it was in my eye, it was burning a little bit, so I got out and found something to wipe my face, and, people were driving by, and I was telling them I'm all right. And I knew that my phone would at least call 911, so I called 911. I didn't know where I was. I saw 2 different road signs. I said, I'm in between here.
How'd you call 911 with your phone? Oh, I guess.
Emergency.
Yeah, yes, 911, yes.
So you call 911 and you wait for the troopers to show up?
Mm-hmm.
What happens then?
Did anybody else ask you about the smell of the van while you were driving around? It had to have been overpowering. Did you smell it?
Yeah, I smelled it.
Yeah.
There's mothballs in there that broke open, and there was some of her stuff or whatever broke open in there, and that made a weird smell, like just clung to my clothes, the mothball, and obviously the decay. And so I believe Sarah asked me once, what's that smell?
And what'd you tell her?
I just said there's mothballs in there. Because I was almost overpowered the other smell on me. Anyways.
How'd the window of the van get busted?
That was prior to all of this happening. I backed into a tiny little oak tree in Nikki's, my mother-in-law's driveway.
When any of these happened, were you drinking?
Mm.
No, you weren't drinking a bit. No alcohol, no drugs, no nothing.
No.
Clear head.
I'm not going to talk to Sarah and find out anything different, right? I'm not going to find out that this was some planned thing. I don't think it was, but obviously, I got to go back and talk to her.
Yeah, that sucks for her.
Because you already put her in a spot today.
Yeah. But she knows nothing about it. Nobody does. Yeah.
Nobody at all. There's nobody that you confided in that said you knew.
I don't have anybody.
What happened with you and your mom? I know your mom called me and she told me that you called her and told her some weird story. She didn't think much of it, but obviously thinking back now, she said it was a little weird. What'd you tell your mom?
I don't know. I guess telling her the same thing that I was telling the kids, like, or no, I don't know what the hell.
Something about Kentucky is what your mom told me.
Oh, yeah, that was for the hurricane or whatever. So she asked what we were doing if we were staying in Florida or whatever. And that's when I was with Sarah. So I told them, no, we're going to head up to Kentucky. Casey has family up there. We've been there before. So that was the story I told.
So that wouldn't have been an abnormal story for your mom to have
Right.
heard.
Right.
But you never went to Kentucky, obviously.
No.
I know I asked and I don't remember if you answered.
I feel like I dropped something in there, but I don't know.
Were they clothed or unclothed or?
The baby had a diaper on. So I guess she would be naked.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
What were the other ones wearing?
Cameron had some bottoms on and no shirt.
You saying like shorts or something, sleeping shorts or something?
Yeah.
Is it Preston?
I think the same goes for Preston.
Okay. So what about the oldest girl?
She had clothes on. That's all she had.
You left a computer at Sarah's house.
Mm-hmm.
What's on that computer? Anything?
No, that's, it was Casey's, but there's nothing on it. Yeah.
Why'd you leave it there?
So she could have the boys use it.
Okay. So you gave it to Casey for the boys.
So
I'm sorry, you gave it to Sarah for the boys.
Yeah.
All right. Step out for a few minutes if you want.
Yeah. Make sure we covered everything and
Hang tight.
yeah. I appreciate it, Michael. Michael, obviously we have to ask you. You know, we traveled a long way and all that stuff. We hadn't been talking to you or anything. Is there anything in the van that's going to be of any, you know, as far as evidence is concerned? Is there anything that you used to clean up? Is there anything?
No, I mean, I do have cleaner in the car. It's just using the spray to keep the smell down.
I can smell that car for 50 feet after it sat there. Did nobody ever say anything to you about that? So you parked it in her apartment complex and it sat overnight and nobody said anything?
Never.
Could you smell it when you walked out in the morning?
Once you got up to it, right before you opened it, I smelled it.
You're driving, obviously you're riding with windows down.
Yeah. So there's some cleaner in there that I sprayed just to keep the smell down.
And then the mothballs are in there.
Yeah, there's fly spray in there. Flies obviously were flying around. And then there's 2 knives in there, but I didn't use anything like that.
Okay, so there's no, when we go and obviously we got still a lot of stuff to process and look through. We're not going to find anything other than, there was nothing.
No, I didn't use anything other than what I said.
Okay. What was the phone number that you called me from this morning?
That's my oldest, Sarah's phone.
Okay.
She asked me to call you. You know, she was panicking and freaking out and getting. So
I understand that.
Made a quick call just to appease her, and then start getting my belongings around.
What were you going to do if I answered the phone?
Tell you I'd come see you.
And then haul ass the other direction?
Probably.
Okay. I understand that. Since I've been dealing with these guys for a couple hours now since I've been up here. Everybody been nice to you?
Yeah.
Anybody threaten you?
No.
Everything that you told us tonight has been voluntary. Nothing was coerced. Nobody threatened you in any way?
No.
Okay. This is one of those things where you're caught and it's over. And are you thinking about hurting yourself?
No. I mean, think about it, but
You're not gonna.
I can't choke myself. Probably if I owned a gun, I probably would have. Quick and fast, but I don't own a gun.
I appreciate that. You have any questions for me? They're gonna charge you tonight with whatever charges they have up here, and you're gonna have a warrant to come back to Marion County. They're gonna transport you back there eventually. Okay.
Okay. Stay here until that happens.
I don't know how long that'll take. Sometimes it's a couple of weeks, sometimes it's a couple of days. It all depends on transport, stuff like that. So. All right. They're
And
gonna.
then where's Marion County jail?
Where's Marion County Jail?
Yeah, I mean, where I go from?
What do you mean?
Like, where do I, after being charged here, and you said I'm getting transported, where am I? Is it Marion County?
Yeah,
Okay.
you have Marion County Jail.
Yeah.
So, if you have any questions when you get down there, you can write me a letter or whatever you need to do, and I'll come over and see you. Okay?
Yeah.
If there's anything else you can think of. So there's nothing buried in the yard, there's nothing
No.
hidden underneath the trailer or anything like that?
No. That was my only thought, was I was gonna just stick them under there, under the trailer.
Did you think
This is my medication.
okay, that's all that's left in the car? What is it? I seen it's like personal property. Is that your stuff?
Person,
Yeah.
some of it's, yeah, it's ours. Yeah.
Okay.
It's ours.
All right, Wendell.
Yeah.
Good luck to you.
All right.
Sorry, I appreciate your time. Thank you for answering all my questions.
All right. You're welcome. Come on.
Right here. You got regular handcuffs? Michael? How you holding up? Best as can be? It was quite the trip down here, huh?
Yeah.
Was it 2 or 3 hours?
Like 3.
Everybody good to you? Or nobody's mean to you or nothing like that?
No.
Okay. I want to talk to you a little bit more, obviously, before you go over to the jail. Do you mind talking with me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to read you your rights one more time, okay?
Okay.
Obviously, every time I talk to you, I'd like to excuse me, make sure you know your rights. Again, I'll read them to you off this card. It says, number 1, you have the right to remain silent. Number 2 says, anything you say can will be used against you in a court of law. Number 3 says, you have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present with you while you're being questioned. Number 4 says, if you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any questioning if you wish. Number 5 says you can decide at any time to execute these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements.
Yeah.
And then on the back, the 2 questions, it says, do you understand each of these rights as I've explained them to you?
Yes.
Okay. And number 2 says, having these rights in mind, do you wish to talk to us now?
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, I've been going over all this stuff with a fine-tooth comb, okay? And I talked to Richard about the drop-off and the pickup and all that stuff here recently. Whenever And was that, did you have a Facebook? Because I've looked, I've scoured Facebook. Did you delete your Facebook
No.
since all this is on there?
No, I have one.
Okay, you still have it?
Yeah.
Okay. What does your profile picture look like?
For the life of me, I can't remember what it would be now.
Okay.
I don't get on it much, but
We've gotten obviously some other reports and stuff, and we've talked to your neighbors, we talked to your family, we've talked to her family, we've talked to Richard, we've talked to as many people as we can. You know how big a deal this is.
yeah.
So obviously we want to cover everything that we can cover, and we want to understand as much as we can understand. As as hard as that is for people to understand, we still need to know about it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
During our investigation, somebody mentioned some incidents that happened with the boys previously. Have there been any issues where you disciplined the children or anything like that, and it got out of hand?
Mm-hmm.
How would you discipline the boys?
Most of the time I would separate them, go to the room, but sometimes I'd spank them on the butt.
Okay.
Other than that, that was it.
Would you ever spank them with anything besides your hand?
No.
Okay.
Hell no.
There was mention that the boys were disciplined. I don't know if it was a spanking or something. I know that when I was a kid, I'd get spanked with a belt.
Yeah.
Did you ever spank the kids with a belt?
No. I've had that happen. No.
No switch from the tree, nothing like that?
No old school, none of that. It was just a hand.
Somebody mentioned that maybe a clothes hanger?
Nope. But that would have been something that happened when they were with their father.
Tell me about that.
A couple of years ago, he was investigated. He had the kids for the weekend. It was Halloween, around Halloween, and the boys came back in their costumes, and the oldest Cameron had a Batman costume, like a one-piece, and he's autistic and he has trouble putting, so it's like, hey, take this off. So I undid it, and as soon as I did, he was going pee, you need to go pee. So I hollered to his mother, and he had bruises all over his lower back.
Really?
Yeah, real bad. And it was investigated in Lake County. We lived in Eustis at the time, and they did investigations, and I told her she was going to, there was going to be an arrest made. It never happened. It kind of fell through the cracks. I'm not really sure exactly how, what went on with it, other than that I guess he got an attorney, and he said it might have happened on a bounce house or something like that. But
okay, so that was all kind of pushed to the side and went away.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I've never used anything on the kids.
Okay. I'm trying to think of everything to make sure we covered everything. Obviously, the one question is, everybody's asked me, why? I understand why Casey, why the boys, and why your daughters. I'm going to collect your DNA, and we're going to get you transported over to the jail. Okay?
All right.
If at any point during all this you decide, hey, I need to talk to Detective Wardland, don't hesitate to tell him.
All right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Per Florida law, when we arrest somebody for a felony act, we can collect their DNA.
Yeah.
Okay? So, I'm going to do that now. Basically what it is it's like a long Q-tip. Okay? I'm just going to run it around the inside of your cheeks. There you go. Okay?
All right.
You have any questions for me? What was the thing that, let me ask you this. Get your mic. So you know for sure
No, I mean, I had a job with a guy who made cabinets, and the company fell through.
that was a year ago, though, right?
No, this was just a few months ago that I started there.
What was his name? I think I've talked to him, too. He said that you were getting phone calls all day long and text messages all day long from Casey, and...
Oh, that would be Phil, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked for him for a couple of years. No, Eric.
Okay, so that was Eric's the new boss. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going back and forth to there. Where are the kids going during that time?
I had them with me a little bit. It was just a little cabinet installs.
Okay, so you take all 4 kids to a job site with you?
Yeah. I only had a couple jobs with him.
Okay.
He said he was going under. Yeah, he couldn't make the company last, so.
Okay.
He had little side jobs for me here and there.
So,
I went there on the weekend, but then I came back into Summerfield and worked at a side job on that Tuesday, I believe. Or it was on Labor Day, one of the two that I worked.
I got information that you were in Marion County on the 2nd, or at least the band was.
Okay, so then it was, yeah.
So that sound right?
Yeah.
So you come down south into Ocala, or into Summerfield, pretty early in the morning on that Tuesday?
Yep.
Okay. But sometime you went out there that weekend? Well, Michael, I appreciate you cooperating with us. Okay, I do appreciate you going. Okay. Somebody was there to intervene, you know that.
Yep. I do know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I don't have any more questions for you. Do you have anything for me?
No, detective, no.
Okay. Obviously, you know that there's going to be more charges forthcoming.
Of course.
Okay. I've just got to make contact with the attorney's office, and you're going to be charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder.
Yeah.
Okay. On top of the second-degree murder.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't know what else they're going to decide as far as the remains and all that stuff. They're going to charge you with that stuff too.
Right.
Okay. But nobody's threatened you. Nobody's done anything bad to you.
No.
Right? All these the deputies that come from Marion County have been nice to you.
Everyone's been fantastic as far as that goes.
And even up to Georgia, nobody threatened you. Nobody promised you anything.
No.
All right. Well, Michael, we're going to get you transported over to the jail, and
All right.
again, I appreciate your help in this.
Yeah.
We're fixing to take you over to the jail, okay?
Alright.
We're gonna walk you out.
Yeah.
No attempts to run or anything like that, okay?
Yeah.
Fine, stand up, let's go.